The title suggests many things. The important issue is the world revolves around business, society, organizations, individuals, and even religion survives and thrives because of business. Business has to encompass not just financial commodity and service transactions. It has also to include welfare, justice, empowerment, environmental, and other issues too. Every week, Business Matters will delve into aspects of business that impact our lives. We will seek out extraordinary and ordinary people who have done extraordinary things. Facilitators, educators, and entrepreneurs will be invited to inspire and enlighten our listeners. Join Anwar Moolla for an interactive show and find out what really matters in business.
نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته and welcome to another Business Matters program. You with me Anwar Moolla and I'll be with you for another 45 minutes discussing cyber security. The Business Matters program brought to you by the Minara Chamber of Commerce. We have an interesting guest with us tonight. She's joining us from the Fair Escape. Her name is CARA DIEPPENAAR, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So CARA, welcome to Radio Al Ansaar, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, I hope I've pronounced your surname correctly. Is it DIEPPENAAR?
DIEPPENAAR.
DIEPPENAAR.
Close
Okay,
enough.
great.
Yeah, close enough.
Okay. CARA is the head of operations and security consultant at a company called VULSAFE, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. And she's based in Cape Town. So CARA, before we get going, tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of how you got to being in the cyber security space, and a little bit about your background and education as well.
Excellent. I started out in IT, just normal IT, fixing printers, fixing desktops. I had a strange turn of events because I worked for a very small company. They were downsizing even more, so they let me go. But they offered me a chance to work for another company, which was in distribution for a security solution. And I've been in that ever since. So that's the last 20 years of being dedicated in cybersecurity. Started off just as a normal technician doing antivirus then. When the landscape started growing, they added on more solutions. So they started doing email security and web security. And I just kind of went with the flow and learned all these new products and all the new security stuff that happened. The organization that I worked for was quite nice, where you could move around within the business. So I learned how to do invoicing, look after accounts. I learned how to do vendor management, and it was quite fascinating, the different portions of business. So not just helping customers technically, but also helping them come to decisions financially about whether security solutions would work. Doing the pre-sale side as well was pretty fun. So it was more on the sales side than actually just, once it's already been purchased and implemented. What took a bit of a turn was there was a few of us within the organization. We branched off into a new company, and consultancy was one of the things that we found a lot of organizations were lacking. There were, we call them box droppers. So organizations would sell these solutions to organizations and companies, and they didn't really support them. They just left them to be and fend for themselves. So they would call us and say, please, can you help us? So we did. And the consultancy role really bloomed, and it said, well, if customers are going to buy security, how best can we help them? How best can we move them from where they are to where they need to be, and not just leave them alone in this crazy world of cybersecurity? So that's a little bit about me and how I got into the consultancy role. Started off as a normal technician. Okay.
The word security has a lot of meanings, especially I think tonight and tomorrow. KZN, especially on tenterhooks with the whole March to March happenings. Many businesses are actually going to be closed tomorrow. And there seems to be a kind of everybody's on tenterhooks, so to speak. So we're talking cybersecurity, which is completely unrelated to security on the ground, but yet the word security comes through. And perhaps many companies don't worry about cybersecurity until perhaps it's too late when they have an incident. And then they would be turning to people like yourself. So maybe give us some sort of a background as to, when you actually called in. Is it a grudge purchase when it comes to cybersecurity? And some examples of where this cybersecurity is breached.
Okay. So firstly, cybersecurity it's a very hard sell. For a lot of organizations, you're asking a lot of money for nothing to happen. So especially for someone like myself, I'll go in and I'll say to them, we want to install this firewall or this antivirus, and it's going to cost you so much. It's a very big ask for especially smaller organizations to fork out money for those type of security solutions. And we still can't offer them guarantee. So we say to them at the end of the day, cool, pay us, 100,000 or 200,000 Rand for this solution that nothing's going to happen. And then there's still a chance that something might happen. So for us, security it's a very hard ask. When we go to businesses and we say to them, okay, cool, you need to do cybersecurity, and it needs to help the organization, and we're trying to do it from a good place. One of the things that we do at VULSAFE is, if we're going to be recommending any solution, we want to make sure it's not just based on our opinion or even the opinions of the vendors that we use. Everybody's got a lot of opinions out there on how to stay safe, what you need to invest in, who you need to hire. And it's very hard for small organizations to navigate that. So we go, rather not take everybody's opinion. If you can, take the best of the best in the world and see if you can align to that. So we have frameworks that we utilize. So we have something called the CIS controls. We say, okay, if you're going to align to anything, rather align to the best of the best in the world and follow their approach. And we can help you implement that. So we can guide you through that process. It's not to say that an incident won't happen. And even then, there's times when a cyber incident stops being a cyber incident and starts becoming a business crisis. So when it escalates to the point beyond just, a few machines have gone down or something's happened, it gets to the point sometimes where organizations say, can we recover from this? Is this something that we can sustain or move past? Do we have enough money? Do we have enough time or effort to do it? So for us, we don't want to just step in right at the last minute. That's never really a great place to be. We rather help organizations before they get there. What can we do now to prep you for those incidences if it does ever happen? And how best can we do that without just like throwing money at the problem? Because that also, when you get to that point where it's too late, sometimes organizations do that. They throw money at it and go, cool, we'll just fix it, make sure it doesn't happen again. Let's see if we can recover if they have that capital available. So we go, okay, cool. Not throw money at the problem, not come in too late. Let's get in early. Let's help you plan and prep and do it as best we can. And then should it happen, we have the right things in place to actually help you move through it so it's not so detrimental.
Okay, so let's just start with saying, when it comes to cyber security, would you view it as a core business risk rather than just an IT concern?
Absolutely core business risk. So if we ever look at an organization, they have to be available to the world. They need to be connected to the world. You can have the best services and solutions possible, but if you're not connected to the world, there's no ways you're providing them to anyone. So there's no business growth or stability for you. The second part is, even if you are available, if you're offline or not stable enough to provide your services or your solutions to your clientele, it's not like the government where you can come back. So the government says to you, okay, cool, I'm sorry, our services, our systems are offline. You have to go back to them, a week later or a few months later. But for small businesses and organizations, that's not really an answer that you can give to especially to prospects. So you want to make sure that you're not only available, but you also have the ability to go through that process with them, get them onboarded, start doing the selling. And then beyond that, you want to retain that customer. You need to build that trust with them, that you're delivering a great service, that they can use you again. So we have a look at going, from being available and connected to the world to being stable enough to provide your services and solutions, and then maintaining that trust with the customer. Those are core items a business needs to focus on. And cybersecurity aligns to that quite well. The cyber risks and threats that we're seeing at the moment impact every single one of those. So we're seeing companies that are being hit with denial of service attacks. So what that means is that their websites aren't available or their machines aren't available. And then to the far side, we see them being compromised. So they're leaking customer data. So now we have your data sitting somewhere else in somebody else's hands that's not authorized to have it. And that there's not like a legal aspect involved there as well with Poppy, but cyber threats impact business on all three of those levels. So it's not just a case of it's a core item for business now. It is a case of it actually aligns and supports those core items of business. So it's not just a nice to have, it aligns very well. We want to make sure from a cybersecurity space, there's three things which we do in cybersecurity, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So it's called the CIA. We love acronyms in cybersecurity. But the CIA helps organizations and security focus on the important things. So the confidentiality, making sure that the customers aren't compromised. From availability, making sure that you're always connected to the world, and also in integrity to make sure that things aren't tampered with that shouldn't be tampered with, that the dates and information stay safe, your system stays safe. So it's definitely a core item within business. It's not just an IT concern, it is a business concern because cybersecurity threats could wipe out the entire business. So yeah, definitely a core item in business, not just IT concern.
Okay, so many people still believe that my business is too small. I'm not going to be targeted. I'm off the radar, so to speak. Is this a dangerous misconception?
Absolutely. In fact, it's probably the opposite. So we are seeing small organizations targeted more. So for a small organization, we find that you as small organizations don't have the capital to invest in all the latest technologies. They don't have the teams behind it. They might have maybe one or two people within the team, and those individuals don't have a core focus on security. So what they're doing is they're fixing printer issues. They're making sure that the desktops have arrived and they're up to date and they're being deployed and they've got everything set up for the user. So their focus is actually very diluted. We also find small businesses don't invest in skilling up the IT guys. So what happens is they kind of sit there by themselves as this island where they don't know who to turn to, they don't know where to look. There's so much information, so much happening in cybersecurity right now that it can be very overwhelming for one or two individuals to try to do it by themselves. So we go, so we said to them, okay, you don't have to do it alone. There are people out there that can help. We're an entirely dedicated cybersecurity organization. We have different teams doing different things and monitoring different areas of the landscape. So when we look at it that these guys are left by themselves, it's an unrealistic expectation on business to think that they could do cybersecurity to the degree of these larger organizations, and especially if they don't have the capital backing them. What we're seeing now with AI in the mix, the scale and speed of attacks that are happening are insane. So previously we said, okay, cool, it would require somebody skilled in order to get into an organization. They might not target small businesses because there might not be that much return of investment for their time back then. But now what's happening is we're seeing it that those organizations, because they don't have the necessary technologies and peoples and skills in place, with AI now supporting cyber attackers, making things so much faster, so much easier, they can now target these small businesses a lot faster and get out of them a lot quicker. So they are actually a more plausible target than these larger organizations that have the capital and have the people. It's very unfortunate for them.
So when we talk about a cyber attack, Talk us through a typical cyber attack. What will the organization see, or will they just pitch up at work one morning and realize that the computers are not coming on? But what would be a typical cyber attack?
Okay, so what I'd love to do is actually explain a bit about the background and then where it is now.
Sure.
So a bit about the background was the previous attacks were very noisy. So you would have this pop-up on your machine. It would say to you, you've got ransomware and you need to pay. And it was glaring and in your face that something was happening. It was almost like a pat on their back that they were able to get into this company. What we're seeing now is something more stealthy. So they will get into the organization and they will sit there for months. We've seen it sometimes, weeks and months on end, where they're just sitting there, they're busy snooping around, small movement. It's a very low, small movement that we're seeing. So from a what would you see perspective, you actually wouldn't see anything. If you're not looking for it, you won't see it. And that makes it very hard because you're looking for a needle in the haystack. What we do and how we find it is everything that's within the organization. So your mobile phones, your laptops, your desktops, your servers, the cloud devices, everything. We want to get logs from all of those places. So we want to get all the information that it's picking up, get it into a central place, and then look for that needle in the haystack. So seeing it now is actually very difficult. By the time you do see it, it's too late because they've been in there for months. What it would typically look like and what we've seen recently is there's a lot of business email compromise. There's a lot of impersonations. So there's lots of emails going, please can you pay this invoice? Please can you change these banking details? So they are trying to get either money or data out of the environment. So especially for organizations that hold more sensitive or proprietary information, they're trying to get that data. And for other organizations, they're trying to doctor invoices or banking details or anything like that.
So a typical small organization would have 10, 15 laptops floating around. And generally, these laptops, when they bought, they get some sort of a firewall protection installed. Most times comes standard on these computers. Sometimes your installer just puts it in and says, yeah, I've got you protected. Now, many organizations would think, we quite well protected. We have these so-called firewalls here. Where would the product that you're advocating or the products that you're advocating be quite different to what would come standard on a typical laptop?
So there are, I think the main thing that we would want to do, so we don't like ripping and replacing products. So what we mean by that is when we go into an organization, the main thing for us isn't just to uninstall stuff and then put our stuff in. Laptops now, they do come with antivirus and they do come with a firewall, which is great. And that's kind of the basics, getting an antivirus and firewall. One of the challenges that we see is that there's no central control for the IT guy. So whatever he has to do 10 times or 15 times. So he has to do it across the organization. And that's actually very difficult. Not having central control, even if it's just a few machines, makes life vastly different. It makes it harder to navigate a cyber incident when it's all happening. And when a cyber incident's happening, it's chaos. There's a lot of things that people are saying and recommending, and you're trying to use ChatGPT or something to try to figure out what to do next. So we typically call it headless chicken syndrome. Too much going on, nobody knows what to do. And in those moments, it's something like a central management. So central management of antivirus, central management of firewall. That's what makes a difference with how fast you can respond to an incident. There are some additional things which we would recommend you do. So doing something like encryption, installing, making sure MFA is enabled on all your cloud applications. So definitely antivirus, definitely firewall. And then the recommendation and what we're seeing now is having some type of behavior analysis happen within the organization. So to give you an example, a small organization, so even let's say if there are 20 users, they could easily generate up to 100,000 logs per day. Now, if the expectation is that the IT guy has a look through those logs to find that needle in the haystack, it's a very unrealistic, because that happens all the time. I have a question for you, actually, before I carry on. I'd like you to take a guess how many malicious mobile apps there are per day.
I wouldn't have the faintest clue. I would think they run into hundreds of thousands.
Okay, so not that much. I mean, it's close. It's probably the annual. But every single day, a unique instance, there's over 2,000 malicious mobile apps. That's down from 11,000 a few years ago.
2,000 new malicious apps that are being created every day.
Per day.
Okay. And this would be worldwide, right?
Correct, yes. So that's down from about 11,000 a few years back. So now if we have a look at it, is the IT manager supposed to know all 2,000, which ones are applicable to the business, how to stop them from getting in, if they did get in, how to then remove them and fix the device after that? And that's just for mobile. So if we had a look for, what about laptops? What about servers? So the expectation on the IT manager to know everything and, again, get all those logs, look for that needle in the haystack. If you don't have that central management, or you're not doing any type of behavior analysis within the environment, it makes it really hard to say, I'm going to defend against everything new today and everything that's happening all the time, 24/7.
Okay, so you're being bombarded all the time, and obviously it's impossible to pick up on each incident. Now, the thing is, how often does some sort of a lead on originate from the company itself? For example, somebody in the organization getting onto an unsavory website or something like that, which would lead to the problem starting.
Yeah, so the root cause, so we call it the root cause. So to be honest, the root cause is normally a user. It's normally a user clicking on something they shouldn't, or opening up an email and clicking on the things that they should not click on. It's quite unfortunate. Users are targeted the most because they are, I don't particularly like the saying. It is a saying in the industry, but users are the weakest link. Although it's true, I'm not particularly fond of it, but the users are socially engineered. They are, the emails and the phishing attempts and the links and the websites, they're designed to get the users to click on things that they shouldn't click on. Even for myself as a security expert for 20 years, we have phishing emails sent to us all the time as tests. And it's very easy to fall victim to them. So for me, there's someone that should know all the techniques and the tactics that are currently being used. I still struggle. So for somebody that doesn't have any knowledge, it's very easy to understand that a user would click on those things. So yeah, users are the root cause. They will click on things. It will lead to something being installed, and that machine then becomes compromised. The guys will get into it. So we do this with our red team as well, so our pen testers. When you click on something, our pen testers will get in. They'll sit on your machine, and we call it command and control. So we will take command of your machine. We will speak back to our servers, and we can do stuff within the environment that we really shouldn't be doing. So yeah, users are the root cause the majority of the time.
Okay. Cara, we're going to go for a bit of an ad break. When we get back, I'm going to explore with you maybe something regarding costings for small organizations and big organizations, and see what type of solutions you guys can provide to mitigate against something like this. So let's go for an ad break.
Radio Ansaar.
Umrah this July school holidays with Show Mirage Travel. 14-night early bird special from the 1st to the 15th of July 2026, or 10-night super special from the 7th to the 18th of July 2026. Packages include return flights ex-Johannesburg on the world's #1 airline, Qatar Airways, Saudi visa, transfers, accommodation and guided ziyarats. Contact us for the super low prices. Limited seats are available. Call 031-208-4222. Show Mirage Travel, your trusted partner for a seamless Umrah journey.
Looking for natural wellness solutions for the whole family? Visit the Al Ansar Shop Health Department, your trusted destination for vitamins, supplements, herbal remedies, immune boosters, and health essentials. Whether you're looking to improve your well-being or maintain a healthy lifestyle, we've got you covered. Quality products, trusted brands, affordable prices. Visit the Al Ansar Shop today. Al Ansar Shop, caring for your health naturally.
This Women's Day, every mosque tells a story. Al Ansar Outreach and Radio Al Ansar proudly present Her Mosque, Her Story.
Join us for an unforgettable day filled with inspiration, delicious food, laughter, comedy, exciting prizes, and heartfelt moments, and get to meet your favorite female presenters.
Tickets are only 300 Rand, and every ticket helps support our Slice of Life drive.
Call Outreach today on 031 208 1601 to book your seat for the 8th of August.
Her Mosque, Her Story, because behind every smile, every struggle, every success lies a story waiting to be told.
And remember, she's all that.
Getting you through your day. Radio Al Ansar.
Business matters.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you've just joined us, you on Radio Al Ansar, you on the Business Matters program with me, Anwar Moolla. And we've been having a really, really interesting discussion with CARA DIEPPENAAR, talking cybersecurity, how companies are affected, and what they can do to mitigate against being attacked. So, CARA, I mean, let's be fair and say that even if companies have put in firewalls and have got in all of these security systems, they can still be compromised.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yes, definitely fair.
Okay. But rather be well prepared than not prepared at all, right? So before talking about how you could assist in terms of small companies and then going to larger companies, if a cyber attack happens, what should a business do? It's like asking if a person has a cardiac arrest, I mean, give him CPR or whatever. But from a cyber attack perspective, what's the immediate thing that they should do? I mean, is it shutting down your computer or just walking away, or what's the right thing to do?
First and foremost, stay calm. Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. So that's the first thing. Always breathe. The next thing is the general recommendation is whatever's happening on the user's account or on the machine, you want to make sure it doesn't spread further. So the general recommendation is reset a password, revoke some sessions, and take the machine off the network. That's not to say that's always the plan, because that might not work in all scenarios. And the reason why I say this is there might be some machines you can't take offline. So some customers have machines that are critical, business critical. They can't take them offline. So in those scenarios, what do you do? I would recommend one thing: don't delete anything. So from a deleting perspective, if you delete accounts or you delete files, I would recommend just to err on the side of caution. If you wanted to take something to court and you've deleted something, you're messing with evidence. For the best recommendation I can give you is have an incident response plan. Pre-think it first. There's lots of examples online, and you can use ChatGPT, or you can come to an organization like ourselves. Have an incident response plan that you can then go by to help you through the process. So first thing is breathe. If you have a plan, follow the plan. And that plan should say, okay, cool. We need to contain this. We need to eradicate what's happening. There is a specific framework. It's a NIST framework that we use, and it says contain. So analyze first what's happening, contain it, eradicate it, recover from it. And this is a crucial step, remediate. So what you want to do is, it's okay to fix the mess that's happened, but you need to make sure it doesn't happen again, because then it's going to cost you again and again and again. So there's a specific process that you need to follow. And that's why it's good to have an idea of how to go about it. I do recommend this. Try not to do it by yourself. if you have an expert that you can call, so whether that's your IT provider or your IT department, that can reach out to their community, try call someone that's been through it before that can help you. It's really hard going. So for us as experts, when we do a cybersecurity incident, we have the skills and the technologies, and we have the things in place to navigate it. And if I think to my customers that don't have those things in place because they're still on their journey, it would be very hard to do it by yourself. So first and foremost, breathe. If you have a plan, follow that plan. If you don't have a plan, do one now. Just write one up, make some notes, just have something that you can go by. What you can take offline, what you can't take offline. Whose accounts can you disable temporarily, not delete, just disable? Do you know how to revoke sessions? Do you know how to reset passwords? So writing down those few things will help you a lot within that moment. It helps you keep your head and go, it's fine. I know how to reset passwords. Or even somebody else that has access to the system can reset them for me. So stay calm, follow the plan. Do the plan now if you haven't.
So you're not going to run around the office asking everybody, get off the server, I've been infected. I mean, it probably is too late. It's probably on your mission.
Yeah, it is kind of too, I don't want to say it's too late, because it's never too late to take a machine off the network. And we've had customers that have said, must I take an axe to the server? I was like, no, that's a bit extreme. Just chill. Let's just first get a grip on the situation. So I think it's kind of like any incident response. And I'm not a medical incident response person, but I think the first and foremost is you need to assess the situation to see the scope. If you do something, you could possibly do more damage. It's like deleting stuff. You can't then take it to court. So then you can't get forensics on it. So you might actually end up doing more damage if you rush it. So absolutely, people that you can shut down machines, shut them down temporarily, disable accounts, revoke passwords, reset password, revoke sessions. You can do those things, but contact an expert to help you. If you can do that now, go, who am I going to call? Who am I going to call on this particular incident? Or something funny is happening, or I got an email, like who am I going to call? You can do that now to be better prepared for that next moment.
Okay, CARA, you're based in the Ferris Cape. Most of the listeners of Al-Ansar are KZN based. How could you be of assistance to them? Do you have a satellite office here, or if somebody's interested in cybersecurity and want to know more and get some quotations, etc., how could you be of assistance?
Excellent. Okay, so the glorious world of cybersecurity, we can do everything remote. We do have offices around the country. So we got Cape Town, Joburg, George. We also have in Australia. We've got also a team in Manila. We have people in Ireland. So we have people around that can always help. We also have lots of customers in Durban, so always happy to travel there. Okay, so if you want help, the first place that I would recommend you look at is look at the CIS controls first before you reach out to any organization. Have a look at the CIS controls. So the CIS controls is the Center of Internet Security. There's the CIS controls version 8. It caters for small organizations to large organizations. And it says, okay, between my entire organization, what do I need to focus on? It gives you an idea of what you need to focus on. And if you go, okay, well, yeah, we've got antivirus and we've got an asset tracker, it kind of gives you an idea of where you stand. So when you're phoning someone, whether it's VULSAFE or whether it's somebody else, your current provider, you can say to them, I want to align to this. This is my best chance. International best practices says I need to do the following things, and they cater for small businesses. I need to do these things. So I don't want to throw money at it. I don't want to blindly bash at it. I'd like to follow this plan. Where can you help me? So from a VULSAFE's perspective, you can call us. You can email us on admin@vulsafe.com. So VUL for vulnerability and safe for we want to keep you safe. So vulsafe.com. You can also call us on 071-473-5732. So call us, email us.
Your website is VULSAFE.
Yes, vulsafe.com, yeah. So all our details are in there. And then if you have an incident, you're more than welcome to call us. We'll help you through the process. And then also before we make any recommendations on what products or whatever you need, we first go, where are you currently? Where do you want to be? Let's plan, let's budget, let's do this properly, let's do it systematically. So that's what I definitely recommend. You can reach out to us, we'll start the process with you, or reach out to your organization and say to them, okay, cool, I want to do the CIS controls. Let's do it based on international best practices. Let's get some good security in there.
Okay. Some parting comments from yourself for the listeners of Al Ansar.
Yes, please, if I may. One of the things that we see, especially in smaller organizations, is that the team are by themselves. They don't have the exposure that most larger organizations do. So in large organizations, you have different teams and those people have different interests and they have different vendors. But from smaller organizations, you're very limited. I would highly recommend sending those individuals on courses. So we also offer courses, but get them exposed to the community. So when they say to you they want to go to IT Web, which is a security conference, it's just been, or they want to go to B-Sides, it's a conference coming up soon. I think it's in August, if I'm not mistaken. Send them to B-Sides, send them to IT Web, send them on courses. The more your IT guys are exposed to the community, the better chance they have of picking better products, knowing what to do, and especially sooner rather than later. So especially with the AI stuff going on now, the guys that are left behind, they struggle to catch up. It's a lot harder, and they're just, it's much harder for them. They're by themselves. They don't know what to do. It's not a great place to be in it. So definitely invest in the IT department. Get them out there, get them exposed, reach out to the community, get them trained up. That would be my parting recommendation. And then also do your incident response plan. Prep now. Okay. So that were my parting
thanks for those sagely words and excellent advice. I'm sure that you're going to get a lot of the KZN community calling you, wanting to find out more about cybersecurity. And hopefully not many that call you saying we have a problem, get us out of it. So thank you so much. I think you left us with a lot of food for thought. And cybersecurity is a reality which we all have to embrace and make provisions for. So hope to have you in the studio at some stage when you get to KZN. Come and discuss more about cybersecurity with us. But it's been lovely chatting to you, and look forward to seeing you again sometime in the future.
It's been my pleasure, and thank you so much to yourself, the team, and the listeners. It's been great to share with you. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. That was CARA DIEPPENAAR talking about cybersecurity and all things related to cybersecurity. Never can be prepared enough, and hopefully it's something that doesn't attack any of us. But if we do, we know we have CARA and her company called VULSAFE, VULSAFE, that's there to help and to get you back up and running. That's it from me for tonight. Inshallah, I'll join you again next week on another Business Matters program. Don't forget to keep nominating your friends, family, business associates for the Minara Business Awards. Richly deserved companies are out there. Nominate them and let them be recognized. With that, it's wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Business Matters. The title suggests many things. The important issue is the world revolves around business, society, organizations, individuals, and even religion survives and thrives because of business. Business has to encompass not just financial commodity and service transactions. It has also to include welfare, justice, empowerment, environmental, and other issues too. Every week, Business Matters will delve into aspects of business that impact our lives. We will seek out extraordinary and ordinary people who have done extraordinary things. Facilitators, educators, and entrepreneurs will be invited to inspire and enlighten our listeners. Join Anwar Moolla for an interactive show and find out what really matters in business.